Part 2 of the color and value exercises to load your palette and make some observations about what you can already see. So this is white, Indian yellow, cadmium red light, and ultramarine blue. So what can we observe about value just by looking at what's on the palette? White's the lightest, as usual. These two look about the same value, and the blue is clearly the darkest. So this may or may not show up as well in the video, but it will show up when you do it on your palette. So anytime you're exploring a limited palette, you want to understand what can these, however many colors you have, in this case 4, what can they do when they interact? And one of the first things I always ask myself is, what's the darkest neutral I can make? So I'm going to start with the darkest color I have, which is blue. And then I'm going to add some of the cadmium red to it. Because the definition of a neutral is that it doesn't have a strong color identity. So it's not going to be a strong red or a strong yellow or a strong blue. So there's kind of a reddish purple. I will put a little bit more blue in it. I want it to feel kind of neutral in terms of not too red or not too blue at this point. So that's nice and dark. Doesn't feel too strongly blue or too strongly red, but it's not a true neutral in this palette until I add some of the Indian yellow. So Indian yellow is a transparent yellow, so it won't lighten this so much as just change the color. If I were using cadmium yellow light, I would proceed very carefully because it would bring up the value, it would make it lighter. And all I want to do is make it neutral so that it doesn't look like a red, a yellow, or a blue. Still looks somewhat purple. Take more of my yellow. This is one of the reasons that I really like the Indian yellow, is that I can put it into my darks and they don't become lighter. So there we go. So it looks like a brown. Now, there's any number of neutrals that I could make that would feel neutral, right? As long as they include all 3 of these. But this is what I've come up with, and I'm pretty happy with it. That's the end of step 2, creating your darkest neutral from the palette you have.